Hitting the buzzer beater or something. Championship game. Dream team. Feeling better than I ever been. Cairo in his bag, this beat is heaven sent. Back up in my element, new whip, trunk up in the front, I whip an elephant. It's all limo tent, that's how you move when you the president. You assin' off stream, treat him like my last name. Disrespecting, you just signed a check for a long day. Appetizer rappers, you will never be an entree. Really, you a condiment, and I hope y'all follow this. Crazy how people with the most money lack the common sense. Batman over Gotham, how I'm over shit. Running this game, now they finally noticing. Hear us on TV like, damn, yup, I know that's them. Just had to pay the dues. Now I feel like we could never lose. But it's us against the world. Now we finally got the tools. Watch a few years later, turn a puddle to a pool. We just gotta keep it hot to keep the family living cool. All we do is win like a size dad. I just bought my mom a Louis V bag. I just took little bro to BB Simons.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Coach Terrell Buckley Show, episode 4. We took a brief break last week while Coach Buck and Coach Fred put together a nice video just kind of looking over the campus, some of the really nice facilities that we talked about on episodes 1 and 2. Of course, joined by my co-host, Coach Leroy Frederick, assistant head coach over at Mississippi Valley State and inside wide receivers coach, and of course, the star of the show below me, Coach Terrell Buckley, head coach of Mississippi Valley State. Guys, we're back finally. This show's been taking off. We appreciate all the support. Of course, this is powered by the V Club. Make sure to go to the description in our bio on YouTube and go support the V Club, which supports all things Mississippi Valley State athletics. But Coach Buck, we have signing day this week. As people are listening to this, you guys are probably in the war room right now preparing for National Signing Day, the final signing day before the 2026 season. Coach, we've had a lot of questions, and obviously we're limited, and we're going to do a signing day recap next week where the fans can ask more questions about individual players and positions. But going into this recruiting cycle, what were some areas that you and your staff really wanted to hit that you guys maybe wanted to improve on or build more depth at coming from 2025 into 2026?
I think it all started with waiting to see what was going to happen in the transfer portal. That's a big part of what you do in the recruiting cycle. So once we got that cleared away, we dove into those important areas, what you just mentioned, which everybody likes, offensive line and a D line. And then you get you fill in them holes of playmaking. So we probably spent 2 weeks, I'm talking about from first thing in the morning to late at night, getting a great game plan, easy game plan that could put us where we need to be. And that goes back to also going back and evaluating your season, where the needs, where are we lacking at? So it was a good time for me. I think for the coaches too. So you realize, okay, this is actually what happened. This is actually who we lost. If you wait till the transfer portal go run its course, and this is actually what we need. So it puts you ahead of the game.
Without getting into individual players, how many guys are you projected to add to the roster between both transfer portal and high school recruiting? Because we've seen teams range from, Coach, I think PV announced their signings recently. They're up 70-plus new kids coming in. We've seen other teams be around 50, other teams be closer to 30, 40. Where in that range are you projected to be? Just give me a range. You don't have to give me a specific number. Just, are we looking at more like 30, 40 kids or 70, 80 kids coming in?
Well, I'll tell you this: we did that 70-80 last year, and that wasn't good for us. So I would say somewhere in that 40-50 range, because you got to replace the guys you lost. So I think this is the new trend. This is what's going to happen, and it forces you to change kind of your thought process on the teaching mechanism. How do you teach? Because the turnover is going to be consistently every year between 40 and 50 players.
Do you have a preference? Because I think, and I've looked at the data, and we're going to release more on at least my website about this. The hit rate for certain positions at the FCS level and in HBC football is very different. Like the hit rate for quarterback guys is not very high out of the transfer portal, but the hit rate for something like a wide receiver is much higher than an offensive lineman or quarterback. Defensive ends are really high as well. Do you have a preference on portal versus high school for certain positions, or is it just a case by case basis?
I think it's case by case, and it's what you need. Uh, like if you rebuild in your old line, you gonna go high school, junior college, and you transfer. You're gonna get everybody. But if you're just trying to fill that one spot, and you need a playmaker, you need a big time a guy with, let's say, some experience. Just depends on what you need.
Coach Fred?
And with that, Coach, being inside the building, and like you said, we can't talk about a lot of it, but when you, before I got there, when you look back on the season, the past season, and you talk about filling those holes, was there a more glaring area that you really wanted to hammer down, whether it be high school, transfer portal, whichever was the best fit, but was there one specific area that you're like, if we can sew this up, if we had sewed this up last year, we would have been a lot better?
I would say the biggest thing was if you, whatever position, we had to get bigger overall,
Okay.
and that's everywhere. And I think we have accomplished that. I'm very very excited about what is transpiring for us in recruiting. We will be bigger.
And, to follow up with you, I've been on both sides of that transfer portal thing where we brought in, when it first opened, we brought in a new room, right? And it was really talented on the board, but once we got out there on the field, it just didn't mesh. It just didn't click. It never got right. Is that one of your drawbacks when you think transfer portal overhaul? Like you just said, you brought in all those guys last year and it just didn't work. Is that the big caution when you're talking about the transfer portal?
Well, if you really pay attention, and it dawned on me and the staff probably in the middle of the year, we kept wondering why this young man wasn't performing the way that we wanted him to perform. And there was a few of them. And you could see him getting better every week. I call it ramping up. He was ramping up. And then just through further conversations, just that conversations about exactly what happened, how long ago before they had played, right? They played special teams. As you look at the guys, they played special teams. They've had them practice reps, but them game reps. You put together a highlight tape. You might have a 1 minute, 30-second highlight tape with some feeds, some repeat plays in there. So the actual getting out, lining up, playing offense, defense, I haven't done that in years. And it takes time to get ramped up to be ready. And for us, we're not in position to wait that long. Some teams are. We're not in that position. We need players to perform immediately.
And I'm with you on that, and we've talked about that. And that's one of those things that I think when I talked to you was kind of like, wow, if you look back, if you get a transfer kid and all he sends you is practice tape at a skill position, more so than the up front, and all he sends you is practice tape, not that it's a red flag. Of course, he's in the transfer portal for a reason. But Coach Buckley wants to see some game on that highlight tape, correct?
Yeah, 100%. There's one exception to that rule, and that's the quarterback. Because you have some things, but everybody else, and that's from experience, learning. 1 year doesn't take long. Yes, I need to see something. I mean, we sit in there and talk about this. We have discussions about this for hours on why we should or shouldn't take. And I'm like, we're not in a position to be experimenting to see what he used to do 3 years ago in high school. That's pretty tough, you know. That's a pretty tough pill to swallow.
So before I give it back to Zach, for you, when you're talking, and we're talking skill position only at this point, when you're
Yes.
talking that skill position, whether it be offense or defense, how long in your mind would it be? So you get a kid that's been in school for 3 years, he's coming to you, uh, his last year of eligibility, he has less than 10 game reps. How soon do you, if you take a chance on him, how soon does Coach Buckley need to get him ramped up before the start of the season, if that makes sense?
Well, we don't need him to the season. So game one he needs to be ready. And that's the only way you could be ready is, we always talked about this, is the preparation, right? So obviously he would have to be showing some stuff in the off season and then doing training camp.
Coach, was there a position that let's take it on both sides. Was there a position on the team that you had almost no turnover on, that you're returning a ton of talent at? And on the flip side, is there a position room that you feel like is going to be very, very heavy on National Signing Day this week, where you guys just had a ton of turnover and you had to bring in a lot of guys to build that room up?
Man, that's a tough one. I would say last year, depth-wise, probably our linebacker core was the nucleus, and a bunch of those guys are coming back. So besides that, we have our quarterback coming back, obviously, which is huge. We lost Brandon Nunez, the backup, but you know, having Josh to come back and the core linebackers is really good, and that's for a couple of reasons, because we have to also improve on special teams too. And there's certain body types that you want. I think they need to be divided up. That deep dive into what we need, the body types we need to get us to that next level. Special teams has to be at the top of that list.
This is going to be a very weird but difficult question to ask here. And I've talked to other coaches about this, and me and Coach Fred have had these conversations on our show. That I know a bunch of different staffs in the FCS that sell players on, yes, we're going to develop you for the NFL, but if your dream is to go and play for Florida State or Ohio State, we can develop you for that too. And I know recently Coach Mario Edwards, and we're going to have to get him on the show one day to talk about this. We've seen a bunch of guys he's developed, Coach, go from Mississippi Valley State to the P4 recently. Is that something you can sell on the recruiting trail, or is that something you avoid? Because I've seen opinions on both sides of the aisle on this one. Like, I'm not selling a kid on coming to me and transferring to another college program, while we've seen other coaches embrace it. Where do you stand on that issue?
You have to be adjustable. I mean, you have to ask yourself, okay, do we have a choice?
That's fair.
If you don't have a choice, we are a Division I football program. We are coaches, and if a young man gonna come here that has the ability that you want, you take him. That you need to help your team develop, and now the relationship that you cultivate with them will determine what happens the next year and 2 years down the road. There's certain things that it's out of our control. Our job as a coach, get the best players in here, best students, best the people, the student athlete. And if we're doing our job correctly, people should want to come. And how it's set up right now, when you got money involved, it should be one of those things where they should be receiving phone calls, and I have no issues with that.
And it's funny you said it, Zach, because we had that conversation a few days ago in the office. We were sitting around talking about it, and it's funny because coaches never, wavered on that. But there's certain things you can't control, and you hit that, Coach. And I don't know if the outside world truly understands that. As a corner, I don't want to leave Coach Buckley You know, he's a Hall of Famer here. I don't want to leave Coach Edwards. He played in the league. I'm learning at a high level. But again, that phone rings. That's a tough conversation. Have you had that conversation with a kid that you could probably share with us, Coach?
Yes, guy you're talking about is Prince, and actually helping him through this process. They end up going to Oklahoma. We looked at all the scenarios, and when it's a couple things, and it goes back to the haves and have-nots, your family, your background. Like I told y'all the story before. If I had the financial means, I wouldn't have left school early. I would have stayed at Florida State another year and had every record because college and that atmosphere was awesome. Prince was kind of the same way. He did not want to leave, but the opportunity to do something else to help him grow. It wasn't just the money part too. A lot of people think it's just the money, but it's not that. It's the environment. It's I want something new. He's been with us for 2 years. Sometimes, you want to try something new, and I love the fact that the players have an opportunity to do that. Coaches do. I mean, we just witnessed a coach that didn't even coach his team in the playoffs, and nobody had a problem with that. For the most part, I ain't gonna say everybody, but I think everybody involved in this thing should just if these are the rules and this how it happens, we got to be able to adjust and deal with it and realize that every year there might be 50 new players on your team.
It's easier, in other words, it's easier to, hey, just accept it because it is what it is, rather than banging your head against a brick wall. Because right now it hadn't changed. It doesn't look like it's gonna change. Now we're not saying that we agree with it as coaches, B, but it's only so much you can do, right? We just saw where a coach calls out another coach in a news conference. What's your thoughts on that, Coach? Because I'm kind of in between on that. With the coach from Clemson calling out the coach from
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. And then you had the Fresno State player that came out and turned in the text messages from the Ole Miss coach and said he was also tampered with.
Yeah. Well, that happens. I mean, you know what? I've had guys on our team in September that was showing me that another head coach was following him. It wasn't from the SEC or the ACC, but it was from a Sun Belt school. I mean, it's competition. Let's step up. All of us are here to compete. This is how it is. It's been this way. And so, to start calling out guys and do stuff, that's a battle that some of them feel like it's worth it. If the NCAA is going to do something about it, let them handle that. But all I know is I can control what's happening in this building, how I interact with these young men, and at the end of the day, whatever decision they make, hopefully we've had that deep discussion or in-depth discussion on why. And if we do what we're supposed to do as coaches and how we handle business at Valley, then we're going to make it really, really tough or hard for them to leave.
That's it. Well, go ahead, B. I say with that being said, I mean, I think that's huge because you got to have a relationship. And like you said, Prince came in and actually talked to you. I've been a part of that where you find out a kid's in the transfer portal from across campus. You never hear it from the kid. And that part of it is kind of tough for me because that means that I didn't have that kind of relationship with Terrell Buckley to where he felt like he can at least come talk to me before he went and put his name in the hat or after he put his name in the hat.
Well, what we did too, you wasn't here last year, what we did, we started probably in September. I was very vocal about talking to the team about the portal, the pitfalls, what happens. And every coach talked to their position group, and we had another discussion. What's your plans? This was in the middle of the season. It didn't change our feelings. It didn't change the way we act with them. Any of that. Guy come in and say, yeah, I'm probably going to go in the portal. Okay, fine. I respect that. We just add them to the list. But we didn't, get mad and say, no, don't do this, don't do that. I wanted to educate them about what happens when you go in there. Your scholarship, all this here, you can forget about it, right? It's done. You go, and if you don't get picked up, and then you can see the attitude, and I felt like our relationship, I think, even got stronger because they felt like, oh, he's not trying to deceive us or do anything about that. No, do what you got to do. But make yourself look better by playing harder. Fred, you want to go in the portal? Look what you're doing right here. Look at your effort right here. Nobody wants that. And that coach going to call me and ask me about you, Fred. Do you want that on your? No, you don't want that on film. Don't put your work on film. This is what they going to get. So I'm hitting it head on. We're discussing and talking about that, and I think it's brought us together. The players, the players that left, someone coming there crying, said, "Coach, I got to do it," and I'm like, "Yes, you do. Let me help you. Send me a little bit of some of that back. Give me a little of that.
Donate it to the V Club, right?
Yes,
Donate some of that NIL to the V Club.
There you go."
To kind of build off that, Coach, how does your evaluation strategy differ between high school and transfer portal? Does it, because obviously the film matters in both, right? But do you do a deeper dive into character evaluation for the transfer portal guys in terms of calling other coaches, calling whoever, whatever connection you have with that transfer? Do you dive a little bit deeper behind the scenes, just outside of the film with transfers versus high school?
Well, you have to, because they actually played for some different coaches. I think you still do the routine out of high school, calling everybody, guidance counselor, security guard, whomever, to find out, is this the type of person we want to bring into our culture? Is he going to fall into the standard? When you say the standard is the standard, culturally, this is what we're doing. You get that transfer that's been gone for 3 years. You got a whole new set of coaches that have different thoughts, and some have said, if players that are watching this, it is simple. The phone call does not last long. When you call a coach and you ask them about a player or somebody, and they say, "Don't do it. He's not your guy. He's not your type of guy." It's not a long conversation. Or I'm going to stand on the table for him. I stamp him. Those are just, I ain't going to tell you everything that we say, but yes, it's very quick. Let's do a play right now. So you calling me talking about Fred as a player. You the coach, you calling, you call me, ring, ring, ring. So somebody.
Yeah, I'm like, man, Coach Buckman, I'm recruiting Fred out of the portal. We're interested in him, man. Real good wide receiver, had 500 yards last year, all conference honorable mention. But what is he like off the field? What's he like in the locker room? Does he go to class? What are the grades like? Well, give me the rundown, Coach, on Coach Fred.
Well, I'll tell you this. I never had an issue with him. Grades are awesome. Great person. I stand on time. He'll be a great fit for you.
That's all I need. And then I hang up, and guess what? Send in the offer. Send in the offer.
Yeah.
Hey, what's
and then
up,
I call Fred, and be like, "Bam, this is what happened." I've literally done that this year. I've talked to probably 15 different schools. I talked to one school. This is how crazy this was. One school, we had a junior college kid that was committed to us, that one school offered, and he was like, "Well, I'm gonna go here." Okay, that's fine. That same school come back around and take one of the players that actually played this year for us So we got 2 guys. And then they dropped that junior college kid and took the one that was playing for us. The junior college kid called us back. Do you have room? Yeah, absolutely. We got room. This is nothing. Nothing is personal, but that's where the communication comes in. So, and the coaches understand that. I don't take nothing personal with other coaches. If it's good for them, it's good for us. Because one day you might be on the other side of that shoe, where somebody is doing it to you. So I just don't. I personally, and I tell the coaches, don't take it personal, man. This is why we're here. You got it's basic recruiting the entire time.
Man.
The last question before we shift into some more national topics, talk about the Super Bowl and some other things that are going on around the college football space. When's the latest date you guys are looking to add a player? Like, obviously, National Signing Day is coming up on Wednesday, but you guys know there's still 4, 5, 6,000 kids still in the portal. How late are you guys going to be looking to add talent? Like, is there a chance for a kid to be added after spring practice or be added this summer? Or are you guys done after National Signing Day?
No, man, we're never done.
That's fair.
Hey, we added guys the week before the season last year, so we're never done. We're trying to become that team. And when you are trying to become that, you don't sleep. It is 24/7, and the door is always open. If you fit into the culture.
That is 100% fair. Well, in terms of national topics, we already kind of talked about this a little bit, Coach, but let's just say you're not at Mississippi Valley State. You're just recruiting talent for Coach Fred University. We heard the quote come out from Dion this week or last week that said, listen, man, if you're under 6 foot as a corner or 6'1", we don't need you here. Like, we're good outside of rare exceptions. And obviously a bunch of people responded and were upset about it and pointed to the kid at Indiana. That was their starting corner. I think he's 5'9", D'Angelo Pons, who's going to be a top pick in the NFL draft. Do you agree with that evaluation? Like, are you 4 corners above 6 foot, 6'1", or do you still think some of those smaller guys can get it done at the corner spot, being should be a future Hall of Fame defensive back yourself?
Listen, I told you guys this before. I like playmakers. So size doesn't matter to me. And you think about this, I went through this before as an assistant, and that was one of the rules that they said Nick Saban had, right? And then you look out there and you see his starting corners and all, they 5'10". And then because, he made a rule, but there's always exceptions to the rule. And that means playmakers. Can he play? And I think Nick alluded to one of the guys that I'm talking about was a 4'3" guy. So you might want a 6 feet, 6'1", 190-pound corner that can play bump and run and do all those things. But he can't do that. You might have a 5'9", like Aaron Glenn, that's with the Jets now, that's 4'3", that can play man-to-man, make plays all day. So my evaluation is simple. The game of football is a simple game. Blocking, tackling, making people miss, judging the ball, scoring touchdowns, stopping them from scoring touchdowns, running, hitting, being physical. If you could do those things, then you could be a football player.
I think you showed us a jersey of a guy who's not 6'2" that is going to be Hall of Famer too, in Ty Law. I don't believe Ty was 6 foot.
Ty was, matter of fact, let me show y'all this. This Hall of Famer, my teammate, the 50 Pick Club, putting this on the wall very soon. Shout out to Ty, my man.
Talk about a playmaker.
Playmaker, my teammate. I think Ty was, if he was 6 feet, it was like right at the end. But physical, big, mean, ball skills, everything that you wanted. So, but again, everybody has their own thing, and shout out to Dion for even to me having MSD the courage to lay guidelines of what he wants and what he expects, and I that's why I love Dion. That's why I love and respect him for not only as a player but as a person.
Coach, what you measured out as?
Not at 5'10", 5'10", 5'9", and not even straight 5'10". Now I put them cleats on and put them stars in there. I'm even over 5'10". But guess what? When you can jump, and I always tell people, when you got a 38, 39 inch vertical, and I'm out there covering, who wasn't even T.O., who was probably had the longest arm. We played San Francisco. Who was that? It was
J.J. Stokes?
J.J. Stokes, who's 6'4". Herman Edwards was 6'4". It's who leaves the ground first. That was my thing. If my vertical is in that 38 to 40 range, they throw the ball up, I leave the ground first. It doesn't matter then. Or if I beat you to your spot. Now, there's a difference between, okay, I'm about to get up here and press all day. That's why it gets confusing when they saying that. It ain't really, to me, they say the height, it's how strong are your arms? Can I get my hands on them? Can I bump and run them? You know, what's am I strong enough in the shoulders to redirect the receivers? If I can't redirect them and all I'm doing is opening the gate and just running with them, and they allow receivers to push and do all that, now, of course, they would have an advantage. The rules have allowed the receivers to have even a more advantage over DBs, especially corners today. I mean, you got to be twice, 3 times the athlete the receiver is in today's game. It is tough for these guys.
Tough. So you measured out 5'9", almost 5'10". What you ran? Because that to me is also, I don't want to say overblown, but sometimes in some instances, I think that level, if a guy's not running in the 4.4, we don't want him, you know. And I've seen some 4.6 guys, like you said, with great anticipation, great hands, you know. Is that a hang up for you as well? Of course, you don't want no 4.8 guy out there. I get that, but are we 4.4 or better? Or where does that at with you?
It comes out to the system. If whatever the system allows, if I'm in a system that's playing man-to-man, then you want to have a guy that can run, because you're going to have him out there playing man majority of the time. The systems I played in, it required speed, quickness, having the ability to judge the ball, make plays on the ball, because we played quarters, which is, if anybody knows anything about the quarter defense, back when I played, it was I back. I was the left corner on the defense. Quarterbacks are right-handed, so they would take the safety out, split safety. So they would take this strong safety out of the picture with the tight end and put you one-on-one all day. So that meant I had to cover Andre Reed, Indianapolis coach, my man Marvin Harrison. These guys, majority of the time, one-on-one. And if we was a cover 2 team, like the Tampa 2, then you don't need a guy that's 4.3, 4.4. Or fire zone. I personally feel like I never played in a defense in the pros that really exemplified my skill set along with my football IQ, because I'll always put it man to man. If you go back to Florida State, we did everything. Played man, played zone, we played cover 2. We mixed it up, fire zone, and so I played off. I could use that everything the Lord blessed me with. And I really didn't get a chance to do that in the pros, which uh, that's the one thing that I regret. I wish I could have gotten a system that you played a lot of two, mix it up. Was a quarter of a man, quarter of two, quarter fire zone. So now you can use I could use every uh, thing that the Lord blessed me with.
Well, you did pretty well, Coach, in the 50 club.
And the 50 club, the Lord's good, yeah.
I
But you
was
know, one
gonna.
of them things you always trying to push to get better. I'm like, man, if you think 50 was the number, man, if I could have played in this system, played behind, I always tell Derek Brooks that, man, I would have played behind y'all. Just rushing for, I can jump in the two and do some of that stuff back there. Well, I wasn't always in man to man. If you look at all the picks, it's down the field. This is how you know if a guy's playing man to man and he's by himself or cover two. When you get a pick, you're down the field, it's you and the receiver. That's it. He push you down, catch the ball, ain't nobody there. All of a sudden, they throw a ball down the field. You coming this way downhill, you playing zone. You know, I listen to all the quarterbacks that are experts talking about defensive back play. When they throw a ball up, it be three dudes there, and they like, oh, that corner's playing man to man. They got a linebacker there and a safety over the top. You're like, what is he talking about? So I know I'm getting my. We start talking defensive backs and people commentating about that. I get sidetracked a little bit. Let me bring it back.
I was gonna actually ask you about the Pro Bowl because there's been a big debate about players, how it's turned into a flag football game, and I was surprised, Coach. Listen, I saw some of the seasons you had. I think it was the '98 season where you were second in the league in interceptions. How did they snub you from the Pro Bowl that year?
Man, I don't know. If you look at before that too, that's the year I stopped even thinking about that stuff and got back to why I was playing ball, right? If you look at the years before that, you talk about 6 picks, four top 10 defense, playing man-to-man, punt, returning punts. You're doing everything that says, bam, you are one of the best corners in the league. And if you look at over the career, you take my top 5, 6, 7 years, however you want to break them down, they right there with all the other guys. And so, but what I didn't have was a coach. Jimmy Johnson was our head coach as I was having them years that didn't really promote me. I wasn't one of his guys. I wasn't drafted by him. And we had some other good players on the team, and he went a different direction. But numbers don't lie. I don't need a gold jacket. I don't need anything. I'm seeing behind me. I got a Hall of Fame here. I got a bunch of Hall of Fame around hanging up around here. But I don't need a gold jacket to justify how I played.
I need that gold jacket, Coach.
Well, I can go to the store and buy one.
I need.
There you go. You can pull like what was it? Was it Chad? Was it Chad Ochocinco that had the gold jacket with all his accomplishments? That's what we need T-Buck to wear every pregame. Just walk out the locker room with his own gold jacket.
I don't need that. I've gotten over that. I played the game for the love of it and the passion, and I know if you're going off numbers, then I'm there. I'm with everybody else. So that doesn't faze me when I interact with other gold jacket guys. The conversation is no different. There's no drop off in how they talk to me or how they talk to the other gold jacket guys.
And that's a great bridge to where I want to go with my next.
I hope you're going the same place I was about to go. So go ahead, take it.
So when and we're talking gold jackets, when Bill Belichick is denied, what is your first thought? Because I'm like, this can't be real news. As I got it across the phone, I was like, there's no way he's got to be a first ballot. Was that where you're going, B?
Yes, that was the next question that I had written down. Like, we weren't ending this episode without asking that question.
Your
Well,
thoughts?
that's confirmation. Not to say that I'm a first ballot guy like Belichick, but that's one of those things where it's like crazy. Who are these people? But I asked that question in, was it 97, 98, when I was second in the picks, like you mentioned, behind Ty and all that. Like, what do you guys want? What are you looking for? And who's doing the voting? And now with Coach Belichick, I mean, like you gotta be from another planet.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I'm just as I'm not confused like everybody else. I just see how this thing plays out, and right or wrong, I think the system needs to be changed. And I don't know how they do points and all that. It needs to be on. I like the golf system, right? You win 20 tournaments, you go in the Hall of Fame on the PGA. There's no voting. There's no. I liked him. I didn't like him. Well, he played. He played in this system. He played in that. No, you put up numbers. The numbers don't lie. You need to make it by the numbers and then go from there.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, this is what I like. My response to it is the guys that don't need no debate should just go in when they retire. Like
Yes.
Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, Peyton Manning, like those type of guys. Why are we even voting? Like, does anyone have any questions that those are all the favors? Just put them in when they retire.
But
Now,
but again, why? Because what do they numbers, right?
numbers and
So I
wins
don't I
and
don't think it should be just them. It should be everybody. If your
yeah,
numbers says this and this is the criteria. Do I need to win a Super Bowl? Do I need to win 2 Super Bowls? Do I need to win an MVP? Why not put a guy in now? Aaron Rodgers won 3, 4 MVP. Put him in right now. He's still playing, right? Uh, I don't understand what the criteria is because they do it differently. And some guys that are in the Hall of Fame that you like, what the heck is he doing in there?
but Bill Belichick's not going to be in there now.
That's crazy. He'll
So
go in next year.
Yeah.
Unless they make a special, have a special session and say we lost our minds right now. Let's correct this mistake right now.
But it hurts everybody, right? Because the way the system works now is that Bill's going to go in next year probably. And so if anyone's on the ballot next year that also should be first ballot, they're probably not going to be first ballot because they did this to Bill, and it's like a chain effect for the next however many years.
And I say this about, I think the media and everybody has pumped up this first ballot thing and some of the players that jumped into. If you're going in there and that's one of the things that you want and that's how they grade, to me, after a while, who cares if it's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh?
still in there.
You still in there.
Yeah, same hallway.
Yeah. So
let me ask you this though, and I'll get y'all opinion as we keep moving forward. Does this mean? Because in my mind, this means Tom Brady's not a first ballot.
yeah, if they're gonna hold the head coach to that and the
Yeah.
player was involved in that, then they have to do that. But they won't because Tom
It's Tom.
actually went and won the Super Bowl with Tampa. So then he can knock that out. So but this is what I say about the quarterback too. This is one of the things that's crazy. It's a team sport until it's not a team sport. I don't like you. Yeah, we get into the Super Bowl now. I just jump right into it. You look at Drake May. You look at his numbers in the playoffs, and everything is dropped off. And then you look at last week against Denver, the running game and the defense won that game. But Drake May gets all the credit, just like any Super Bowl. If you look at any Super Bowl, I know when we was there, our first Super Bowl, New England, I think we had #1 scoring defense on the top 3 or 4. I think it was like 14, 15 points a game, something like that. I mean, we was playing some ball, and we scored a bunch of touchdowns. But that's one of them things nobody talks about, the defensive guys. It's always, it's one of those things, I guess it's set up that way where the quarterback gets it either way, right? And he becomes immortalized even though the numbers don't say he should be.
So let me ask you this from the coaching aspect. And it's funny because Sean Payton took a lot of heat, right? At home. And I'm picking your coaching side, the coaching side of your brain. You're at home. NFL, you got to think that they had all that paperwork, data about the weather. At home, Terrell Buckley take those points and you still go up 2 scores, or is he trying to throw the knockout punch to go up 2 scores but 2 touchdown scores?
Well, I'm going to take them points based on how defense was playing. And again, that's what I'm saying about the quarterback is the most important person on the field. And I'm sitting there without my starting quarterback. And we still are in the game, about to go up. I'm going to take that and put it and tell my defense, you guys keep doing what you're doing. I mean, that's kind of what New England did.
Yes.
And some great play calling at the end, and May finishing off with his legs. I love that.
So, thinking back to your Super Bowl time, right? What pull people behind the curtain? What is it like these 2 weeks going in, getting ready to play that game? What actually happens? How does that go?
Well, you have the mindset that this is another big game. The Super Bowl is after the festivities, all the stuff that happens after that. This is still a big game. You have to prepare. You have to condition. You have to work because you still got a game to play. And I tip my hat off to Coach Belichick and the coaching staff and my teammates, man. Everybody was locked in and they knew what was at stake. This is where the experience come in from the staff having been played in Super Bowls and won Super Bowls with the Giants before, that they knew. They knew what to expect. They knew how to handle it. And we was prepared. Nobody really gave us a chance because nobody did their research on, to me, why did we lose against the Rams early in the year? It has anything to do with them being that much better than us. A couple of the mistakes we made, one of the biggest swing was the regular season we played the Rams. We get ready to go in for a touchdown. We fumble on the goal line. They get the ball back and drive that sucker down the field on us. But that was one of the things that really pushed St. Louis over the hump on us in the regular season. And we corrected that mistake, and obviously allowed us to be in the game, be in position for Adam Vinatieri to go down and kick the winning field goal.
Speaking of Adam, we've seen kickers really struggle this past year. I mean, from college football playoff to NFL, I mean, kickers are having a rough season, Coach. How clutch was that? Like, did you guys know how clutch Adam Vinatieri was when he first got there? That's a South Dakota State guy. Shout out to South Dakota State getting Adam to the league. But how clutch was he, man? Did y'all ever have a doubt when he went out there he was going to hit those field goals? Because he's had probably 5 of the greatest clutch kicks in NFL history in his career.
Well, the one was the Snow Bowl against the Raiders. And after that, no. After that, you just like, oh, it's automatic. You kicking that under those circumstances and just everything going on with that game, shoot, please. And now you about to kick a field goal to win the game in the Superdome in New Orleans.
Easy money.
Yeah, it's like, man, we about to. I was almost on the field. Well, too early.
Well, what were your thoughts in that snowball though? Because I mean, I don't like. I know from TV, like we can tell a little bit, but I mean, I know on the sideline, y'all had to be looking at each other like, there's no way, right? Like there's 10 feet of snow on the field, and they're over there calling timeouts, trying to get the snow out of the way, and the wind's whipping. Like I know you guys had to have been nervous on the sideline there.
I mean, not nerve. You couldn't even see the field goal. So it was one of those things. Okay, let's just kick it, and all I did was looked at the refs.
Oh man, I got 2 final questions, man, for you, Coach, and we'll let you get up out of here. Let Zach have something else. One, how much did you have to spend on tickets for that Super Bowl in New Orleans?
Man, whatever check they gave us, which wasn't high back then, that's used all that because I had a bus. I rented a bus for the family. Everybody, cousins, everybody come over. Coach, my coach, the barbershop guys, everybody came over and enjoyed that game.
Spent the whole playoff check.
Whole playoff check.
And second, being a big-time corner like yourself, what would you tell Zero for the Patriots, Gonzalez, as he gets ready to go against Smith and Jigba, if I'm pronouncing his name right, as a number one? And you've been in those shoes, and it's going to come down to you and him. What would you tell Gonzalez right now?
Work your technique. Believe in your technique. Believe in your training, your preparation. Feet. Start with your feet and work your way up. And then after that, I would say this too. Play smart. You know ball. This ain't your first. Don't treat this like a bigger game than it really is. It is a big game. But my attitude always was even if it was the first game, that's a big game. Because you get a chance to compete. If you keep it in those terms, then it doesn't get too big for you and you lose your mind.
Well, there you go. We have the Gonzalez from the Coach
They also
Terrell
got
Buckley
that.
Show.
They also got that bad man at number 2 wide receiver coach. Don't forget him.
FCS
Another
legend.
FCS legend in Cooper Kupp. He won the MVP last time he was in the Super Bowl too. So got to handle him. He might be older, but listen, he's been on that moment. Coach, the last question. Now we always end with a difficult question here. I need you to build your Mount Rushmore of NFL wide receivers that Coach T. Buck has had to handle one-on-one in the NFL.
Well, number one, the greatest receiver ever from Itabena, the Valley, Jerry Rice. Man, Andre Reed.
Buffalo Bills.
Man. You know, I faced off with him a lot. Michael Irvin, because he used to do whatever it took for him. Yeah, bust your lip. He was physical, and I think you have to put Randy Moss in there. I didn't play. I didn't have as many games against him as Andre Reed and those guys, but the games we did, you talking about somebody that can jump, judge the ball, and just on any given play could take it to the house. Now that's 4. How many? That's it.
That's it. You only got 4. Yep.
Man, I left off. Rest in peace. You know who used to give me a lot of issues because we had kind of the same thing was Terry Glenn. Terry Glenn. The great Terry Glenn, man, was a special play. Because I felt like I was quick, I was fast, I was knowledgeable, I attacked the ball. I did a lot of things, and he did a lot of those things too.
That's a good call out because I've heard a lot of NFL players say, and I think Jason Kelce was the most recent where he's like, man, yes, the stars give us problems. Like, is it hard to block Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald? Well, yeah, no kidding. But he goes, the most difficult players to play against are the names that the fans don't give a lot of credit to because it's all about matchups. He was like, my hardest matchup was a backup nose guard for the Giants. And it's just because he was built to give me issues. So I do think that's interesting that was kind of your honorable mention there because everyone would assume the Jerry Rices, the Randy Mosses, but it's those other guys that don't get enough credit for how good they were in the league.
And obviously there's a few more, but those are the ones that stands out.
Well, guys, episode 4, that is a wrap, man. I think this thing's rolling now a little bit, man. We appreciate all the fans for supporting the show, and make sure to go check out the V Club, support all things Mississippi Valley State athletics, and we'll be back next week, a full National Signing Day recap. Coach Fred and Coach T. Buck are going to be able to get more into the actual recruiting because they will be past signing day, and a lot of these kids will be signed. But, guys, until next week, for right now, we are out.
Valley Way.